Hello everyone and welcome back to 80 English tutorials, and now we are going to start with the class 11th course, and I'll be teaching you from the book Rhapsody, the collection of ISC poems for class 11th and 12th. And the first poem that we'll be taking up is Abhisara, the Tryst, written by Rabindranath Tagore. So in my previous videos you must have noticed that I follow a regular pattern, that my poems, the explanation of the poems comes in three parts. Part 1, the introduction; part 2, the line by line explanation; and part 3, the poetic devices. But in class 11th, like, this pattern was appropriate for class 9th and 10th, but now you are grown-ups, you are in class 11th, so I'll change my pattern. So now for each poem, at least for class 11th and 12th ISC, you will get one video which will have everything. The video might be long, might be short, no worries, but you will only get one video for one poem. So that is my that will be my pattern for class 11th and 12th. So let's get started with this. The poet Rabindranath Tagore. See, whenever I will think that knowing about the author is will be important to you. You will be able to judge in what situations he wrote that poem. I'll tell you. But whenever I don't feel like telling you about the author, because anything about the author in ISC examinations is not asked. So whenever I feel like that you should know about the author because it has some relation with the poem, then I'll let you know. Otherwise, we will move on because we'll not in detail study about the author. So here we don't have nothing. We don't have nothing to do with the author. So let's skip this. We come to the themes. Themes of this poem are love and compassion. Second, impermanence. Impermanence is a thing that is not permanent, temporary. Okay, so that is impermanence. Youth and beauty are both temporary, they are not permanent. That is the sense. Materialism versus spiritualism. So here you will meet two protagonists of the poem. One will be Upagupta, the disciple or the student of Buddha, the follower of Buddha. The other will be Vasavadatta, the dancing girl who is a courtesan, and she is all busy into her materialistic pleasures, sexual pleasures, all those things. And here, on the other hand, Upagupta has renounced himself for all these things and he is now a monk. So, therefore, a contrast between these two, materialism and spiritualism, will be seen in the poem. Social injustice. Now, this girl, Vasavadatta, in the starting, you'll find that she is all, very famous among the people. The people are very keen to invite her, all those things. And towards the end, when this same woman, the Vasavadatta, will be struck by a disease, black pestilence, you will find all these things in the poem. Then she will be thrown out of the city, and at that time, Upagupta comes and helps her. So this kind of social injustice is being done to the Vasavadatta. So that is the main theme. Then celebrates the beauty of nature. You will see that all this poem will be set in the beautiful city of Mathura, and very beautifully he describes the cloudy, murky sky of August, and then the spring season he also describes. So we'll see all these things in the poem. Then it's a didactic poem. Obviously, you get a moral. So love and compassion have the power to transform our lives and even the world around. So I'll explain you about the moral once we have finished with the poem. Once I'll tell you the poem, I'll explain you the poem. Then we'll again come back to themes and moral, and I'll let you know what it means. So we quickly come to the explanation of the poem. Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. By the city wall of Mathura, that is in the ground but beside a wall. Okay, so by the city wall, beside the wall, that is ultimately on the ground. So Upagupta, the disciple or the follower of Buddha, lay asleep in the dust. That is, it was obviously if he's laying on the ground must be dusty. So Upagupta, who is an embodiment of ascetic or monk-like principles, he's a monk obviously, he's the disciple of Buddha, he's sleeping in the dust that is in the ground by the city wall that is beside the city wall of Mathura. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. Murky is dark and gloomy. So lamps, it was the time of night. Lamps were all out, then doors were all shut. That is, it was a late night because people have slept. People have off the lights of their home and doors were all shut. So this shows that it was a dark night and late night even. And stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. Please underline August and make a note. A direct question can be asked that the where did Upagupta meet Vasavadatta, or where these two protagonists meet for the first time? When does these protagonists meet for the first time? So it would be August. Then, whose feet were those tinkling with anklets, touching his breast of a sudden? So first of all, tinkling has onomatopoeia. I'll tell you when we will be discussing about the figures of speech. So, feet were those tinkling with anklets, touching his breast? Breast is bosom, chest, of a sudden. So suddenly, when this Upagupta was laying on the ground, suddenly something touched his bosom, his chest, and he noticed that what touched his chest. So he also heard the sound of anklets. Anklets is pile. So it is said that whose feet were those tinkling with anklets, touching his breast of a sudden. So whose feet were those tinkling with anklets, touching his bosom suddenly? He woke up startled. Startled is suddenly and surprised. And a light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. Forgiving is merciful eyes. Now, why forgiving eyes? Because if a monk is sleeping on the ground, if he is resting, and you touch him by mistake, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? For instance, if you are sleeping and someone, touches you and by his feet or wakes you up, you will obviously get angry. But he was not like that. He was like, okay, fine, you go on your way. It's okay, no problem. So that is forgiving eyes. So he was a merciful one. Then it was Vasavadatta, the dancing girl, starred with jewels. So it was Vasavadatta. We are told about the girl now. It was Vasavadatta, the dancing girl. Dancing girl, obviously a courtesan, a prostitute, a woman of easy virtue. Starred, that is, filled, covered with jewels. That is, she was having very, good amount of jewelry on her body. Clouded, covered with a pale blue mantle. Now, mantle is a loose sleeveless garment worn over clothes by women. Drunk with the wine of a youth. Drunk with the wine of a youth, we have strong metaphor here. She was very proud how young and beautiful she is. घमंड था उसे अपनी ब्यूटी का, अपनी यूथ का. She lowered her lamp and saw the young face, austerely beautiful. Austerely is extremely simple, but still beautiful. Forgive me, young ascetic, said the woman. Ascetic is monk, sadhu. So she says that, forgive me, young ascetic, because her feet touched his bosom, and the monk woke up startled. So she says, then forgive me, young ascetic, said the woman. So we also know that now this Upagupta was also young. He was not very old. He was a young boy. Graciously come to my house. The dusty earth is not a fit bed for you. Graciously is kindly. So she invites him. That okay, you come to my house. We'll have chill there. And the dusty earth is not a fit bed for you. So she invites the people, the one for whom the people were mad. She herself is inviting a monk. So you see how beautiful the monk might be. The young ascetic answered. Now, he being a monk, he know how to be in limits and how to control our materialistic pleasures, materialistic desires. So he says, woman, go on your way. When the time is right, I will come to you. So when the time is appropriate, ripe is appropriate, I will definitely come to you. And these two lines are often given for explanation, that when he will come for when will the time be ripe, and also that. So have some patience. We'll get to know that when he will be coming to Vasavadatta. So I hope that till here you are clear with this poem. Okay, we move to the next stanza. Suddenly, the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. So, you imagine a sky, a black sky, and then you imagine a thunder in that. What you will feel like? Lightning is what in color? White, silver. So he is using, Rabindranath Tagore is personifying this lightning as teeth. So, as teeth are white, this flash is also this light is also white. So he is imagining that black sky, that black night to be a face, and that white lines of lightning to be its teeth. So suddenly the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. Flash is torch, a light. So that is the sense. We have personification here. Visual imagery is practiced here. The storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear. So the storm cannot growl. Growl is a word used for animals and basically, and sometimes for for humans also. So storm cannot growl. But the sound of the tree, the sound of the storm is being compared to growling, that it was so loud that it seems that the storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear. Trembled in fear that she was in fear, and she shaked in fear. A year had yet not passed. Even an year did not have passed, and then the time came when they are going to meet again. We move to the next stanza. It was evening of a day in April in the spring. So please note it down. April and the spring. Direct questions are asked on this. The branches of the wayside trees were full of blossom. Wayside is roadside, along the side of the road. So there the trees were full of blossom. They were full of flowers because it was spring. Gay, gay is happy, joyful. Notes of a flute came floating in the warm spring air of from afar. From afar is from far off place. We don't know from where it was coming, but it was a far place. Warm spring air because the spring is the time between winter and summers. So it, it is at this time the cold winds have started to be hot. Therefore, warm word has been used. So the warm spring air, the gay notes of these flute was coming in this warm spring air from afar. We don't know from where it was coming, but the place was far enough that we could not see it. The citizens had gone to the woods for the festival of flowers. Spring is the festival of flowers. So here in this place, the citizens have gone to the woods, to the forest, for the festival of flowers. That is ultimately the spring. So here we have alliteration, festival of flowers. Now, if any question, like for give reason if it is asked, why the town is silent? Because doors were all out, lamps were all shut. So why was the town, it was all silent and all these things were happening? Because the citizens were not in their houses. They have gone to the forest for the festival of flowers. From the mid-sky gazed the full moon on the shadows of the silent town. So why is the town silent? You got the question there. Because the people have gone to the forest for the festival of flowers. So from the mid-sky, that is, from the middle of the sky, gazed is looked the full moon on the shadows of the silent town. The young ascetic was walking in the lonely street. So why are the streets lonely? Because there is no one there. And where are the people have gone? Again, to the woods to celebrate the festival of flowers. So be prepared for such pet questions. While the overhead lovesick coals uttered from the mango branches their sleepless plaint. Plaint is complaint. And you all know that when the poet uses such short forms for the words without any prior information, then what we have? What is the name of the literary device we have? Poetic license. While the overhead lovesick, that is in love. Coals. Coals are cuckoo bird. So now here overhead the lovesick coals, the cuckoo birds in love, they are uttering their sleepless plaint, their complaint. And from where they are uttering? From the mango branches, the branches of a mango tree. Upagupta passed through the city gates and stood at the base of the rampart. Rampart is a fort-like structure. So now we are again meeting with Upagupta, and we see him crossing these streets, and now he stood at the base of the rampart. It's a fort-like structure. What woman lay at his feet in the shadow of the mango grave? So grave is a cluster. So it's a rhetorical question because it is not going to be answered. I mean, it is going to be answered, but not directly, and not in this stanza. So, what woman lay at his feet in the shadow of the mango grove? It was a cluster of mango trees where he was passing through, and then at his feet he noticed a woman. And who was this woman? Vasavadatta. Now the case is reversed. First, Upagupta was lying, and Vasavadatta noticed him. Actually, not noticed him, but touched him and then noticed him. And now Vasavadatta is lying, and Upagupta is walking, and now Upagupta have noticed this dancing girl. So let's see what happens next. Struck with black pestilence, her body spotted with the sores of smallpox. So, a direct question can be asked. It's a pet question that what disease was Vasavadatta suffering from? So it is black pestilence, or you can also say call it smallpox. So she was having black pestilence and smallpox. That is contagious, if you know. So she had hurriedly been driven away from the town because it was contagious. So other people would also have that smallpox. So to avoid that contagion, they threw this dancing girl out of the city to avoid a poisonous contagion. You get the reason here that why she was driven away from the town. The ascetic sat by her side. So this ascetic Upagupta, he sat by her side, took her head on his knees, and moistened her lips with water, and smeared is applied, her body with balm. Who are you, merciful one? Asked the woman. So the Vasudetta was very, when no one was there to help her, when everyone has thrown her out, this boy came and he was helping her. So she also asked like, who are you, the merciful one? The time at last has come to visit you, and I'm here, Vasudetta, replied the young ascetic. So he says that the previous time when you came, I told you that when the time is ripe, I will come to you. And here is the ripe time which has came. Now you want my help, and I'm here, Vasudetta. So that's the poem. So this last poem, you see, this last stanza is full of compassion. We see how the girl who was trying to break his, monk-like principles, he is helping that same girl when she's at a very, low mind, low. I don't know what to use the term. Low, low mental state or so. When she was feeling low, right? So we see But now contagion, what is contagion? Contagion, as you must be knowing, but if you don't know, so it's a transmission of disease by direct or indirect contact. We also get to know that this poem was full of compassion. We see how this courtesan, she was trying to attract Upagupta. But he being a monk, he abided by his principle and he let that woman go on her way. And he also said that when the time is ripe, I will come to you and see in what conditions they met again. When she was struck with the black pestilence, the souls of smallpox, and then he came to her, to help her. Also, you should notice that spring season is being talked of for their second meeting. Why? Because spring season is a period of transcendence from a life of materialism to a life of spiritualism. In this season, there is peace and tranquility in the world. So you notice that spring season, whenever it is talked of, it is always taken in, a beautiful season full of flowers, happiness, right? Peace around the atmosphere. Therefore, spring season have been talked of for their second meeting. Whereas in the first part, it was a dark night, flash of lightning, storms. So that creates unhappy, or you can say disturbed atmosphere. So that are some symbolisms. We know that it's a didactic poem. It gives us a moral. We'll discuss the moral very soon in this poem only. Rhyme scheme, we don't have any rhyme scheme. It's written in blank verse. Then before coming to the poetic devices very soon, I'll just tell you the moral. Love and compassion have the power to transform our lives and even the world around. So we see that how this Vasudhata, the dancing girl, when she receives the love, when she receives the, or what do we say, the compassion, when she is helped by a person who she was attracted to once a time, she is now happy. Why she is happy? Because she is held by a person. When she was when she was struck with black pestilence, when she was not having any energy, when she was not well, she got held by this ascetic. So love and compassion by this Upagupta. See how changed this girl. So that is the main thing. Love and compassion themes you already have. I don't think that it's any requirement to make you understand the themes. It's very easy. Just take the notes from the poem and you can answer them. Now we come to the foreshadowing, to the poetic devices. The theme of foreshadowing is introduced, a foreboding for the evil days into which Vasudhata was going to fall when she was going to, probably she was going to entertain a person for a night. Then it was flash of lightning, storms. So Vasudhata trembles in fear on hearing all those things. So it was that sign of unknown danger, and Tagore wants to show that nature was thinking of woman's dark future and dark present without spiritualism. So the poet, wants to show that okay, now there are flashes of lightning, there are storms and all these atmospheric disturbances. It creates a sort of, uh, you know, dilemma that okay, fine, there is something left, there is something that is going to be happen, and there is something evil that is going to be happen to the woman. Then symbolism, I already told you all these things. Spring season is a period of transcendence from a life of materialism to a life of spiritualism, and this season there is peace and tranquility in the world. Upagupta, let's know about him. So as a true follower of Buddha, Upagupta's motto was selfless service to the suffering mankind. Correct? That is why he came to help her. He visited the same courtesan when she was ill and forsaken. He nursed her, that is, he applied the first aid to her compassionately when she was struck with the black pestilence, that is smallpox. This shows that Upagupta was a merciful and honest ascetic who was completely devoted to the service of suffering humanity. And this is the path where we end up. And I just want to discuss the poetic devices also again, because we might have missed some things. Tinkling with anklets, we have onomatopoeia. Then clouded with the pale blue mantle and drunk with the wine of a youth, we have strong metaphor. It means that she was very proud of her youth. Then here in this, the black knight showed its teeth in the flash of lightning. Then growled word for the storm. It's all personification and also metaphor because it shows that something dangerous is going to happen. Then lightning, growled, all these things have onomatopoeia also. I hope that you know all these terms. If not, then you can go to my playlist and watch my video of figures of speech. Then okay, fine. This is also full of auditory and visual imagery. Keep this in note. Then it was evening, so I don't think that we have any figure of speech here. Except Festival of Flowers, we have alliteration. Then gay notes floating in the warm spring air from afar. We have visual as well as auditory imagery here. From the mid sky gaze the full moon, so we have personification here. And if you think that I missed any question, sorry, any poetic device, you can comment me below, and once I confirm, you can make a note of that also. So thank you for everyone. Thank you for joining. The video has gone too long, so I'm ending it now. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next video. Why I Like the Hospital by Tony Hogland. And very soon you will be also getting the video for the acts and scenes of Macbeth. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.